Hi everyone, it's always exciting to be here on a Tuesday with you. In case you are new, I go live every single Tuesday at 1:30 Central Time. And every time I come on here, my goal is for you to have some sort of meaningful way to make a change in your approach to motherhood. Hey Christina, thanks for joining. And I really want you to find simple ways that you really realize that even though you're busy, even though you've got a lot on your plate, there are things that you can be doing, hey Dee, things that you can be doing that don't take a whole lot of bandwidth, that don't take a whole lot of your time, and end up really making a difference and saving you time. Hi Raluca, I'm so glad you're all here. So before we get started and while people are coming in, I really wanted to focus in on what I do as a motherhood strategist and how I come up on here Instagram Lives and in my feed and in my newsletter and in my membership, and how I'm here to support you and what I can bring to the table as a motherhood strategist and what role I might play in your life. So a lot of the time as moms, we're just go on autopilot, and we're just trying to make it through the day. The reality is there are some very simple things that you can be doing to really think thoughtfully about your approach so that you don't always feel like you're on the hamster wheel, so that you can bring a little bit more intention to your approach to motherhood, so that you're feeling better about how your days are going, and in turn, how you're feeling about your relationship with your kids, and even how you're feeling about your relationship with yourself. So when I come in as a motherhood strategist, my goal is to help you achieve that. It can be really hard to come up with those ideas on your own of what is it that I can do to fix this situation. And that's where I come in. I want to make that easy for you, because the last thing you have time to do is go find resources and search around and figure out what makes the most sense. So I really become the source of information and inspiration for you so that things can just be easier. I know how hard they can be. I see a few more people have joined. I see Erin and Shelly and Claire. Hey. So the way I run these lives is I walk you through some ideas about the topic of the day, but please feel free, jump in the conversation in the comments. I always love the engagement that I see between all of you and the conversations you're having as this is going on, the ideas that are sparked, the ideas that you can contribute. So be sure to get comfortable in the comments. I love seeing those conversations, and it's also a great way to be able to ask your questions. So if you have questions that pop up while I'm talking, throw them in the comments so that I can see them and I can answer them. Okay, so for today, we are really looking at streamlining mealtime. This is so important because we are constantly feeding the kids. Even if you leave the house, you go, you work your job, you are still handling breakfast, at least handling dinner, and probably at least a snack or two, and possibly also packing school lunches should you be one of the lucky few whose kids are still in school. So there's a lot to manage, and I know that that adds a lot of stress in the day, and it's never ending. I had someone say to me, it's like the 24-hour kitchen. Like, I don't know how to shut it down. I'm either prepping a meal or prepping a snack. I'm cleaning up the work. I'm doing the dishes, putting the dishes away, and it's time to start my next meal, and it's just on and on and on. So the reason that's happening for so many of us is because we don't have systems and structures in place. And I know that it probably feels like, well, yeah, I have my routine, I do what I do, but there are ways that we could be streamlining those routines, and some ways that you could be organizing your kitchen, and ways that you can also be fostering some independence in your kids so that they are lending a hand in the process and that they have some autonomy and say in the process that will help make that time and process not only feel less stressed, but also become more efficient and save you time that you should be spending on other things that are more important to you than just feeding the family. So the first thought I have is, what are you doing while you're trying to prep your meals? What are you doing while you are trying to get the food on the table? Okay, and that's not backing all the way up to whether you meal prep or you don't. I am definitely not your go-to person for prepping meals on the weekends. I have tried it. It is not my jam. I am no expert in that. No matter how many times I've tried, the weekends are just not a good time for me to go and prep like ingredients for 5 meals that week. So if you would like those resources, I will send you to some really great ones, but don't be hard on yourself if that is not how you operate, because I don't operate that way either, which is why it's even more important that I have these systems in place and that you think through some systems you have in place so that you really can minimize the stress if you aren't prepping ingredients ahead of time. If you're not doing crock pot or instant pot meals, this is gonna be really important. So the first thing that I always try to do is make sure that the comments from the kids of Mom, I'm hungry, Mom, can I have a snack, Mom, when will dinner be ready? I have to minimize that, because if I don't, it constantly interrupts me, right? It's interrupting my flow. I'm having to negotiate. And so one thing that I have learned to do is to make sure that I am just putting out a super simple snack that I know is healthy and full of things I'd want the kids to be eating on their dinner plate or even their breakfast plate or their lunch plate anyway. So I'm going to take you with me. We're gonna go on a little walk. I'm gonna see how this works. Last time I tried to do a show and tell, I completely knocked the camera over and all sorts of entertaining stuff. So hopefully today we can avoid that. Okay, so yes, Christina, always a disruption. It's constant. And then you give in and you give them the most convenient thing nearby, which is never the thing that you want them to be eating at all. So this is your quick fix. Okay, now I'm standing, so let me adjust the height and we'll be good to go. Okay, this is a problem of being a tall person. Sorry for complaining. There we go. Okay, so here's what I do. I choose easy, healthy snacks. So you want really quick, get those veggie pouches, applesauce pouches. If you're a meal prepper and you're able to do that yourself and pack your own healthy pouches, go for it. Theo's favorite thing for breakfast time, or that he even had yesterday, are the smoothie pouches or the yogurt pouches, or he likes these smoothie cups. The only thing I'll say is these can be messy, they tip over. So just make sure you give them a straw or something like that to drink it down without spilling it everywhere. Bananas, super simple. Apples, mandarin oranges, just make it so that you're not making more work for yourself leading up to the meal, right? The last thing you want to be doing is cutting up fruits and vegetables, peeling them to be able to serve them. Another great one are if your kids like grape tomatoes, that. I gave Theo a whole thing of these yesterday and it was gone before he even got to dinner. And sure, maybe he ate a little less on his plate, but to be honest, am I complaining that he ate a whole cup of cherry tomatoes? No, I am not. Another thing I do is if I have time, I just cut up a whole bunch of vegetables at once, like carrots, cucumbers, a head of cauliflower. You could do dips, that could be really fun. You could do nut butter dips or a yogurt ranch dressing that's pre-made, and hummus, any of those, and just put them out. You can see here, this is my biggest trick, especially for kids who are not eaters. Stella is not an eater. She will not sit down and eat a whole plate of food. I have to feed her a crudité platter because she has good taste. And she's 4 and she already knows it's all about the appetizers. So I disguise all her food as appetizers and it works like a charm. So you can see here, I'm trying, you guys. There we go. Okay, so you can even present it as options, and you can even often leave a bowl of fruit that doesn't require refrigeration or some of those pouches just out or even on a shelf. And then when it's time for you to prep the meals, I want you to just pull it out, set it on the counter. When the kids come wandering in, asking about dinner, you are here you go, enjoy it, have it, and you're never gonna regret what they're eating. And then they're also freeing you up to not have to deal with the negotiation, right? All right, I'm actually gonna pop this off. And the next thing I wanna show you about mealtime really comes down to either making it really easy for you to set the table, but also, more importantly, and I feel very strongly about this, giving the kids a chance to have their own autonomy in getting ready for the meals. So here's what I want you to think about, right? Like, sure, you could make the food and set the table. Totally fine. But I want you to start thinking about, too, how you can incorporate the kids in preparing the meals, because they actually feel really good about that. Even the older kids enjoy helping get ready in some way. So if you have older kids that can help with actually prepping the food and cooking, and it's not going to slow you down, or if you have the time to invite them to do that and you're not going to be stressed about it, invite them to help you make the food together. Figure out what they can do at the readiness that they have and include them in that process. Sometimes that's even asking the kids, hey, can you help me to set the table? It would really help us get to have dinner faster. I know how hungry you are, or I know how much you're looking forward to this meal. It's one of your favorites. So let's get eating faster by getting the table set while I cook. And so I wanted to show you just a few simple ways that I have we mostly eat at our island, so how I have the island organized, but you can really make it fit your own lifestyle or kitchen organization. You might need to shuffle some things around, but let me show you a couple things. So the first thing I have here is this. First of all, I love it. I'm obsessed. It's like a brass and walnut organizer caddy for silverware, but this makes it really easy. So the kids can just grab. I say, okay, I need forks, knives, spoons, like whatever it is, and they can help grab it. It's right there. It's right where they sit. The other great thing that I love, keeping all of your dining supplies all together is really important. So I've got the silverware right there by where we eat. It's also very close to the dishwasher. So I literally just pull out the whole dishwasher caddy, set it on the island, empty it right into the caddy. It makes it so simple and it's just ready to go. And then here's the other thing that I have. So another important thing is keeping for your little ones, keep your supplies within reach. So I had this random drawer where I was like, what am I gonna do with that? This is completely accessible to the kids, okay? So they have their plates, their bowls, their cups and water bottles. So if I say, will you please help set the table, they can do it. They can grab what they need. Hi, Mirsa. So, just think about, if you want the kids to be able to do something like help set the table, are those resources within their reach? Because if they're not, then you're kind of defeating the purpose and you're going to end up doing it for them anyway. So if that requires you to rearrange your kitchen a little bit, that's fine. Take the time to do it, because the 5, 10, 15 minutes it's going to take you to do that, think about how much time it's going to save you on the back end when the kids can become so much more independent and do things for themselves. Another thing that I absolutely swear by are cloth napkins. We hardly use paper towels in our house, and yes, because it's eco-friendly, but also it's just so much better for all the spills and messes that these kids make. I swear by them. They're so absorbent. I feel good that I know I can just throw them in the wash. So I'll show you here too. So here was our drawer with the kids' cups and bowls. Right over here, we've got towels and I've got napkins. So everything they need is within this one little space, right? So to recap, before meals, I want you to think about, how can you get the kids to be satisfied, get those healthy snacks together ahead of time so they're just grab and go, put them out so that when they come to you while you're cooking and they say they're hungry, make sure that you are having those on hand so that you don't have to worry about the negotiation of whether it's time to eat or not. And then the second thing is make sure that you invite them to be a part of preparing the meal. It's going to give them a voice and help them feel important and that they contributed to the family. And then it also frees you up from having to do those steps. One more thing I'm going to show you here that makes it very easy to set the table is how the kids eat. So I have the kids eat on a placemat because we have a stone countertop and I don't want to worry about stains or water. I don't know. I don't want to stress about it, right? So I don't want to put that on the kids either. So we have placemats, and then the chairs that they sit on, because these kids are so messy. They've like ruined furniture before with food. So now I take a gather mat and I put it down for them to sit on. And then these two things, I'll show you. These two things just live right here. So all the kids do every single time they sit down is put the placemat there, and then they already have their mat ready to go to make sure that the furniture is protected. And here's the thing, I used to not do it because I was like, oh, it doesn't look good. You know what, you push the chairs in and it looks fine. And I really care more about making sure that the kids can be independent. I know this way I don't forget, it's there. And I hope you guys can hear me. It says I have a poor connection. But anyway, if company comes over, I clean them out. But otherwise, that stuff stays there all day. And you know what else stays there are their napkins usually. So if they use a napkin in the morning, fresh one for the day, it usually will last them through the day unless they've had some sort of like catastrophic spill. So it's great that they just have what they need at their spot. But when you look at my counter, for example, it's totally clear, right? It looks fine, but it's just quick and easy, ready to go. Okay, so those are your before meal tips. Okay, thank you, Claire. I'm glad that it's like back up and running. Those are the before meal tips. Now, dinner time, like meal time. You might have problems with the kids not wanting to eat. And that was something that I was like, I think that a lot of conversation and back and forth and power struggles happen at mealtime where like the kids don't want to sit, or the only way you're finding that your kids will eat is if you have a screen on. And we know that that's not healthy or good for the mind-body connection to really recognize, am I full? How do I feel? So we really do want to minimize screens while the kids are eating. But I know that sometimes desperation can kick in and we're like, all I want is for my kids to eat, so I'm willing to turn the screen on. So I wanted to share with you 3 simple things to have on hand in your kitchen so that if you're having those moments, you can very quickly reset. So I forgot to get this out ahead of time, but it's always here because I want it to be quick and easy. I have these resources. Anything I show you, just DM me and let me know if you want to know more. I will happily share it with you. You know what it is? I keep going between Wi-Fi and cellular, so let me turn this off. Okay, that should be better. All right, so one thing that I always have on hand are these Mindful Kids cards. I have another one called the Monkey Mind. I love these. I use these in my classroom. We use these for yoga. But we also use them for mealtime. So a lot of times the kids just need a distraction in order to, for their bodies to feel like prepared and ready to just sit. So I find that if there's some way that I can engage other ways of engaging their attention or their senses, they tend to sit a little bit better. So by having conversation, I can usually get them to sit and eat and enjoy being there. But if I'm struggling to get them to have conversation, I pull out these cards. So what we do is we often have like the kids can pick a card of the day. And so they'll look at the picture, they'll talk about it, and then I'll read to them the backside. So sometimes it's like a mindful eating exercise, or they can have ones about like deep breathing. And, I think that when you're building that body awareness while they're eating, while yes, you might be distracting them a bit from their food, I think it is important to have that time to connect with one another. But if you feel like that is hard sometimes, these can be a great way to do that. And these are for younger kids, but they make them for older kids as well. So definitely check those out and let me know what you think. If you want links to them, I am more than happy to share them with you. And then another thing that I love is a source for music. So we have our Amazon Alexa, you could use your phone, house speakers, whatever it is, but make sure that you are playing some soft, calm music or some family favorites, whatever it is. It can just kind of help set the mood and the tone. The other thing I'll say is some kids just aren't ready to sit for a long time at meals, and that's often a problem for the younger kids. So what I would say is that expect like 5 minutes for your youngest kids for them to be able to sit and eat if they're really fighting you, but probably up to 10 or 15 as your kids get older, like preschool or kindergarten. And so something that's really helpful, it's back. I share this all the time, the time timer. So this is a timer that's visual. And let's say I expect Stella to sit for 10 minutes. I don't expect her to eat for 10 minutes, but I expect her to sit there and be a part of the family meal, or to be near her food should she change her mind. Because sometimes what happens is she just sees something else that she thinks is more interesting, and she just wants to go engage with that. But by setting a boundary of, you're gonna sit for 10 minutes, you don't have to eat, but if you decide you want to, go ahead, and then in 10 minutes you can go do that. That is setting the expectation of, you need to make time to eat, and it's okay if you don't want to eat, but let's give your mind and body time to decide if that's what's right for you right now. Usually they're gonna sit and they'll end up eating because they're like, well, I can't do anything else, so I may as well eat. So this is the time timer. I set it for 10 minutes, and in the 30 minutes or 30 seconds I was talking, it's already started to go down. And so you'll see as time passes, this is great when kids don't really have a concept of time. As time passes, it gets smaller and smaller, and they start to realize how much longer they have to actually do whatever activity they're expected to do. So definitely recommend using that. I wouldn't use it as like my first line of action, but if you're feeling like you've tried a lot of these other strategies and it's still not working, your kid still wants to get up, time timer is excellent for that. I'll be honest, Stella even asks for it sometimes. She's like, can you just set the timer? And I set it. She often stays long beyond the time frame that we set, but to her, it gives her that choice then when it does end. Do I want to stay, or am I ready to get up? Let's see. Ooh, Claire, I like that idea. So she's saying that she lets her daughter bring a stuffed animal or a favorite toy to the table, not necessarily to play, but to just bring that object that they're feeling really connected with into the experience of dining, and to feel like they're still having that object be a part of their experience and what they're doing, while also meeting the expectation of eating as well. And yes, Claire, I'm glad you tried the time timer and that you're getting a lot of use out of it. That is really good news. Okay, so mealtime, try screen-free, get some of the kids' mindfulness cards, try music, try a time timer. Those are all great. Now, for after mealtime, there are a couple things that you can do. One thing to streamline your process is to make sure that you are, again, giving the kids autonomy in helping to keep the house clean. I wouldn't approach it as a chore or a must-do, but an invitation to be a part of contributing to the family. Oh, it's the end of mealtime. We all want to go play a game, or we all want to go read, or I know that you've been looking forward to X, Y, and Z. We can't go do that, though, until this kitchen's cleaned up. I'll tell you what, I'll handle cleaning up all the cooking materials, and I'll handle putting all the food away in the fridge. Would you please clean up your spot at the table, and then you can head out? That is setting an expectation of, we all have to chip in, we all have to contribute, but you're putting it in their control of, you're inviting them as opposed to telling them you have to do this before you can go do that. If they resist, offer an alternative option. Okay, I can clean up your food. Would you rather put the food away, or do you have another idea? Let them decide. Do you want to sweep? Do you want to wipe up? So for kids, trays or baskets that they can put their dirty dishes in are really great for helping them carry over to the dishwasher, or at least piling them up that you can carry over to the dishwasher. They can load the dishwasher with their own plate and cup. I'm going to show you two are like wash-up station. So making sure, again, that materials and resources are within their reach is really important. So, here we have our island sink. I keep the soap here, obviously, and then we have a step stool for the kids, just to make sure they can reach. Now, right now, we need a fresh towel, so the kids know. They go right to the drawer, like we talked about. It's within their reach. They can grab it. Now they have a towel, and they can wash up. The other thing that we have, ooh, I'm really getting personal. Let's see in here. This is like our cleanup station, right? So I have like disinfecting wipes. There's a little counter sweeper there, which I love. So the kids love doing that too for crumbs. And then they can grab what they need to help wipe up the counter. So they know to help wipe up. I'll be honest, they fight over that. So they each get to wipe up their own spot. That's how much they enjoy doing it. So don't think that your kids are going to automatically resist you in that cleanup time for meals, because chances are they might actually really buy into it and enjoy contributing to the family. So just to recap, before meals, I want you to have healthy snacks out. Make sure that everything's within reach so that they can contribute, whether that's setting out placemats or napkins or silverware and plates. Make sure that's all where they can reach it. Involve them in meal prep if that is helpful during meals to kind of end the struggle with staying put. 10 minutes are up. To end the struggle, use the time timer if you need to. Put on music, try mindfulness cards, and then at the end of meals to expedite your cleanup, have the kids help. Really set just a very small expectation that they contribute in some way, and make sure that you've organized your materials in a way that allows them to be successful in taking on that role. So it could be things like sweeping, brushing up crumbs off the counter and wiping it down, loading the dishwasher, whatever it is, putting food away. Find a way to involve them. Now, is this going to take a little bit of time for you to figure out how that works for your family? Yes. Is it going to take time to move materials around to make sure that they're accessible to the kids? Probably. Is it going to take you a little bit of bandwidth to kind of remember your plan and follow through on it and be consistent with it? Absolutely. If you have to, write out your little plan and post it in the kitchen so that you can just read your reminders, right? And then you don't have to try to remember it up here. I promise you, when you take the time to set up simple systems and routines that help you to streamline your process, it's worthwhile because you're saving yourself so much time, headache, hassle, debate with the kids. It just allows you to be more freed up and having to put less effort into the mealtime. And cumulatively, over the days, the weeks, the months, and the years, trust me on this, it is worth it to take the 10 or 15 minutes it's going to take you to try some of these ideas and implement them so that they work for you. If you have any questions about any of the resources I shared today, any of the tips I've given, if you are wondering other ways that I can support you in streamlining all of your household routines, please reach out to me. I am here to support you. I love when you come to me with questions. I'm going to be posting this video along with a brief outline of all the ideas here. I'll try to link in some of the products too, so that'll be up on the blog today, so you have that resource always available to you. Make sure that if you need to come back to this video, it'll be in my IGTV. Make sure you like it, share it with your friends who you know have mealtime struggles, and make sure to leave comments about what you liked about this video and how it was helpful to you, because that helps me know what is helpful to you and how I can continue to bring ideas and resources your way that are really going to help you feel supported. So thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for popping in. I love doing these weekly live chats, and I cannot wait to see you again next Tuesday at 1:30 Central Time. I'll see you then. Bye.